touch the skies. Cheltenham town and forest green, Gloucester City stands so keen. Talk of the county, loud and clear.
Good morning and welcome to another episode of Talk of the County podcast, brought to you by Traffic Safety Management Ltd, experts in traffic management, local depot in Gloucester, but support projects all around the UK. TSM keeps the roads moving safely day and night, offering local operatives a great career prospects in a socially driven company, and generally looks after the people in the communities they serve. To find out more, visit www.tsmltd.co.uk. Good morning, gentlemen. We've got Sean Baker, who looks... That smile's gone after 2 weeks. It lasted for 2 weeks, but it's gone. Good morning, Sean.
Good morning.
And we've got Dave, who... Dave's always smiling, but you can tell he doesn't want to smile.
Smiling through the pain.
Morning, Dave.
Good morning, mate.
And we've got Chris Howes, who shares a big smile with me. Good morning, Chris.
Morning, my friend.
Smug bastard.
What we'll do, we'll jump straight into it, and we'll go to Around the Grounds with Chris. Over to you, Chris.
We are going to talk of the counties around the grounds by Chris Howes.
Yeah, cheers, Dan. Let's go around the grounds. Brought to you by BAM Recruitment. They find better matches than most managers in a January transfer window. Whether it's temporary or permanent, they put the right people in the right positions. Engineering, construction, and operational. No VAR needed. Check them out below. First up, the ladies, and one to forget for Cheltenham last week against Bournemouth, falling to a 6-0 home defeat. A chance to make amends later today with an away trip against Plymouth Argyle. Forest Green and Gloucester City played each other last Saturday. It is Gloucestershire Senior Cup action for both teams later today, with Forest Green at home to AEK Boko and Gloucester travelling to Bristol Rovers. Moving to the Southern League Division 1 South. No midweek games for our clubs and not a positive result in sight yesterday, with Bishop's Cleeve falling to a 4-0 away defeat against league leaders Frome Town and Hartbury losing 3-1 away at Didcot Town. Cleeve are just outside the playoff places in 6th. Hartbury are 4 points and 2 places behind in 8th. No midweek game for either team next Saturday. Sees Cleeve away at Tavistock and Hartbury at home to Falmouth Town. For the Hellenic Premier Division clubs, there were a few midweek games, with Cinderford drawing 2-2 with Hallen in the league. Longlevens had a very busy week, starting away at Worcester Raiders in the Floodlit Cup on Tuesday, where they won 1-0. They played again on Thursday at home to Corsham, but the game was abandoned due to heavy rain causing standing water. Longlevens played again yesterday, completing their busy week for them with 4 games in 7 days in a county derby in the league that saw them lose away at Cirencester 2-1. Elsewhere in the league yesterday, Lydney lost 5-0 away at Cribbs. Fairford won 2-1 at home to Hereford Pegasus. Slimbridge had a big win away at Mangotsfield, with the game finishing 7-2 to Slimbridge. Tuffley won 3-2 at home to Droitwich Spa. And Cinderford won 2-0 away at Highworth Town. Slimbridge are second in the league, 1 point behind leaders Roman Glass St George, with 3 games in hand. Cinderford are 6th, just outside the playoff places. Tuffley 7th, Fairford 8th, Cinderford 9th, Longlevens 11th, and Lydney have dropped back to the bottom of the league. That's it from around the grounds. Back over to you, Dan.
Brilliant. Thanks, Chris. Let's go to Forest Green Rovers. Chris? Sean, you made the grueling journey to Southend-on-Sea yesterday. I saw your tweets. You wasn't very happy.
Nah, that was one of the probably worst performance I've seen this season. Couldn't make a 5-yard pass. Just couldn't do anything really, to be fair. Southend played really well. They were the much better side. So just got to move on now, really. Don't forget about that and move on.
another another person who was on the coach was with Martin. He couldn't do a voice note because he said he was late by the time he got back last night. So he sent me a message to read out about he's seen the game and see if you agree with it, Sean. And this is what he put. Firstly, I would like to say how good Forest Green were against Aldershot last weekend. And there was some good intensity from all the players, back to where we were at the start of the season. But yesterday at Southend, it was another poor performance. We lost the game in the 3rd minute, never really created anything. McAllister had our best chance where he got into the box, but tried to hit it with his right and sort of spooned it. Southend's goalie didn't look comfortable with the ball at his feet, but apart from Knowles, there was no press on them at all. Their second goal was a cross to the back post where they was queuing up to score. There was good support from Forest Green, who made a lot of noise. We were let down by the players. Hopefully we can still make the playoffs, but like people were saying on the coach, even if we do performances like that, we don't stand a chance. We know they can do it, do so much better, but we have to put better performances, and we can't have anything like many more like today. Do you agree with that, Sean?
Yeah. I just thought all round it was just rubbish, really. Like I said, we couldn't make a pass. The defending for the goals, I mean, it was just schoolboy stuff. I mean, Gus Scott Morris is the most prolific right back in the league. He got a ridiculous amount. He was their top goal scorer. He got the most ridiculous amount of goals last season, and he's on for it again, I think, this season. And we've, for the second goal, he's just waded into the box, and we've just watched him knock it in. Like, you just can't do that. I think there was players on the pitch. Again, I think I said it the other week, that were just not bothered. A couple of them played 90 minutes, and I don't know how. Like, I think I did tweet about it. If we'd have had 10 substitutions, I would have probably taken everybody off, maybe apart from Maka. It was just dire. It was just dire.
Yeah, let's go on to the game then. Obviously, just before the game, obviously the plus thing was Ryan Innes was back. Obviously, you've been calling out for Ryan for a while. But within 3 minutes, you go 1-0 down. Golden puts safe and 1-0 up. The balls into the box and being more aggressive in your defending is something you want with Innes back, isn't it? Disappointed at the goal come around, Sean?
Yeah, well, it was a mistake before that. I think it was Mendy gave the cheap corner away, and then no one's marking the guy at the back post, and he's got a free header just to nod it in. It's criminal defending, really, from giving the corner away to even trying to keep it out the back of the net.
Yeah, you say you like I said, I seen on X before last night. And I thought I'd leave you alone last night because
I was in a stinger last night.
Well, we could tell because you was very quiet in the group chat.
No, I went and played darts with my boys. I was just it was frustrating.
There's nothing worse than making a long journey. And if you lose but you played okay, you don't mind so much, do you? But like, as you said, you didn't play the best. But you're saying that you could have changed the 10, but Harry Ousted made a great save just on the half hour, but Innes had to clear off the line. You say you'd have changed 10. It sounded like Ousted kept you in it a little bit.
Yeah, he done what he normally done. I think for the first one, it was another, obviously it was a corner, so it was another like cross into the box, which I think he attempted and didn't get to. I can't really remember, but yeah, I mean, he's done what he normally done. Again, I think sometimes your keeper's only as good as what's in front of you.
Yeah,
I know sometimes they can keep you, they keep you in games, and he has done, but I think that only stands so much. I think when the team in front of you aren't performing to what they can, it is very hard for a keeper. Like you said, it was nice having his back. He made a brilliant clearance off the line. But other than that, there wasn't a lot more really to say about that.
What do you think? What do you think Ryan Innes can bring for Forest Green, Sean? Especially in the
for
very
me,
end?
obviously, you've heard everybody saying about experience, and I think he's that. He's a big what I'd call is a bruiser. He brings height, experience, leadership, but obviously, I don't think he really helped yesterday in the respect that we all thought he was going to. Obviously, when I saw the lineup at the start of the game, I was actually quite excited because I was like, "That's some lineup," with Ryan Innes and all back. But it didn't quite work out.
Do you think though with Innes, though, it's going to take him a few games to get back into it?
Yeah,
he be a bit rusty yesterday.
He's obviously been out for 8 to 12 weeks, I think Robbie said in his pre-match team explanation. I know he played in the week against Yate.
Massive win, by the way, Sean. Massive win.
Yeah. 3 unbeaten. But yeah, I don't know really. I was happy to see him back. I was excited to see him back. Obviously, I don't think it quite went to plan yesterday. Like I said, sometimes you got to give credit to Southend, and Southend I thought did play really well. So you could tell they were up for it.
Yeah, they could have gone in at half-time, tuned it up again. Harry Oisted tipped onto the post. I think it was from Morris. As you mentioned, Morris took a shot. And
he's ridiculous, mate. I don't know how he's still playing at his level, I've got to be honest. But yeah, 2-0, I think that was probably the only positive out the game, out the half, was that it was only 2-0, because it could have been a lot more.
They had a couple of decent penalty shouts as well that I've seen given, didn't they?
Who, Southend? Wouldn't have surprised me. Like I said, that's just how bad we were.
Well, obviously it goes in, like I said, luckily for you, it goes in 1-0 at half time. We go into the second half. Robbie makes one change, takes Tate Campbell off and brings Jaden Clark on. What was his thinking beyond that one, Sean?
Clark played in the 6 role against Yate and apparently done quite well. So I think he had that in mind. Obviously, Clark's, he's not a bad player. I don't think Tate, out of all the players, actually, I don't think Tate had that bad a half. But yeah, I think it was probably to get maybe some more legs in the middle, maybe a bit more of an attacking threat going forward. But again, it's not really, it didn't really change the course of the game, in my opinion.
Obviously, Jaden Clark, he scored 10 goals last season for Gillingham, didn't he? He had a really good return. So would you say a 6 is probably, you said there he played well against Yate, but judging him against, no disrespect for a mid-table Southern Premier side, he is more of a forward-thinking player, isn't he, Jaden Clark?
Yeah, I think I ain't sure on his exact stats for us. I think he's like the second. He's got the second most goal involvements for us, I think, this season. So obviously he's not done that bad for us. But I think, I don't it's not that I don't think it was that you was comparing him against it. Well, maybe, yeah, but I don't know. Maybe I just think he just thought he wanted someone to try and move forward from deep. Try and out create, bring in. Obviously, during the game, I think he brought Nick Orton on as well in the 10. But it was just, I just it just seemed to be that whatever we changed just didn't change anything.
Well, they're a good side, Southend, and you've talked about Scott Morris, and I agree, he's a cracking player, and I think if Southend don't go at this,
to be fair, it's not just Scott Morris as well. I think who goes under the radar as well is Harry Boyes, plays left back.
Yeah,
they are probably the best 2 fullbacks in the league. without a
Yeah.
doubt. They both, obviously, Scott Morris gets a lot spoken about because he scores a stupid amount of goals for a right back. But Harry Boyes, he ain't, I think he gets a lot of goal involvements as well. But yeah, I mean, Southend are a good side. Obviously, since last season, there's always been that little bit of added spice to the game, I guess, because, so I think they were like, you could just tell they were well up for it.
Yeah, I'm
to drop off a little bit, but they didn't. They just kept going, kept putting us under pressure. Like I said, we couldn't pass the ball. Barely, we could barely really create, to be honest. Mella seemed a bit isolated on his own.
He had a good chance as well, didn't he? Should have scored, really.
It was just the way our game went yesterday.
The best chance, I'd have said, was like a free header from 6 yards out, and he put it straight at the keeper, didn't he?
Dave's been doing his homework today, Sean.
Yeah.
Just watched the highlights just before we got on air.
I just obviously because we're getting onto the goal. I'm just looking at like Gus Scott Morris. He is 28. Ironically, he's only played for 3 clubs. He played for Royston Town, Hemel Hempstead Town, and obviously he's played 153 games for Southend since 2022. He has scored 50 goals from right back. That is unreal, isn't it? It's 40 goals in 153 games for Southend.
He got their golden boot last season.
Is it 19 or 17 or 19 goals he scored last season?
Yeah, it was something ridiculous, and I think he's on for it again this season.
It is unreal. So it's probably why he's still at the National League level. Because he's been there. I think he's into his 4th year. But I think it's fair to say that if Southend don't go out, there's going to be a few Football League clubs looking at him, isn't there?
Yeah, like I said, after last season, I was surprised no one snapped him up in the summer. I mean, again, yeah, like if he has, if he emulates that again this season, which he is doing at the moment, and if he carries that on, I will be very surprised if someone in the league don't snap him up.
Is Sean playing agent? Have you been on the phone to Robbie?
I'll worry about that in the summer.
Got to be due a couple of signings, don't you, Sean? In a while.
Sean's got a list.
But no, yeah, I mean, he's a cracking player. To be fair, like I said, Southend have been a bit hit and miss. Yesterday they were on it. If they play like that from now to the end of the season, they will have a cracking chance of going through the playoffs because they were good. Sometimes you've got to hold your hands up, and they did exactly what they had to do. They stopped us. Like I said, I think their commentator, I heard say, he said in one of the things, someone said that we got a couple of players on our team who are strolling around the pitch thinking they're better than they are, just doing step overs and they can't pass the ball. Now, if I was to put my money on that comment, I would say, Gilly, I know obviously there was all that stuff that come out about him delivering a baby and all that. I cannot wait for the summer and for him to go. He is so frustrating to watch. He keeps holding the ball.
He delivered a baby?
Eh?
He delivered a baby. I didn't hear anybody mention that.
Yeah. Robbie said last week, was it? He delivered the baby, and then to be playing football on the Saturday is amazing. Imagine having
I bet you any money though. Like I said, he's so frustrating to watch. He's, he keeps holding the ball too long. He just constantly does step overs. I bet he done a step over his missus before he delivered the baby. 5 times.
That's a good one for you, Sean.
And lost the baby.
He said that when he was tired as well. That's a good turn.
But no, honestly, yeah. I mean, he was. I don't know how he played 90 minutes yesterday. I genuinely don't. I would have kept Knowlesy on and took him off. I felt a bit sorry for Tate Campbell because I don't think he done that bad first half. He's probably one of the best of a bad bunch. Mendy, for me, I thought, again, I'm looking at him and I'm just like, again, he's played 90 minutes. I think Robbie keeps a lot of faith in players of letting down. But again, I just think as a team we were poor yesterday. Like I said, Mack was probably one of our best players, like he normally is. So,
But I just want to ask you a question on what you said there about a couple of players. But before that, obviously, we talk about the goal. Obviously, Morris scored. For a while Southend played, it's disappointing you've come away losing from 2 set pieces. And their second goal, Martin's right, wasn't it? They was literally lining up at the back post, weren't they?
yeah. That's what again, I think I put it on my X yesterday. We just watched as that ball came in. We just watched them, especially Scott Morris. We just watched him when Walter into the box and put it in the net. Like, it's criminal. Like, it was criminal defending. And when you defend like that, there's only going to be one outcome. And we deserved everything we got. Yes, but to be fair, I think Southend went light on us. I genuinely think, and I hadn't said it very often this season, but I genuinely think we could have lost that 5 or 6-0, and you wouldn't have been surprised.
You said it the other way a few times. There was a 5-6.
Yeah. Honestly, it was the roles were reversed. But yesterday, I watched that game and I thought, how did we only get away with that losing 2-0? Like, it was mental.
Yeah, going to Southend's an hard place. I can remember going there with Cheltenham a few times, and it's such a tight knit ground, isn't it? And like I said,
but you've got to get used to it. You've got to do it. If we want to go through the playoffs and we got to play them away in the playoffs, they cannot go in there and be fazed by the size of the ground. You know, the fans on top of you, like the amount of fans. You've got to go there and you've got to stand up and pull your socks up, and you've got to put a shift in, which I don't feel like they done that yesterday. And it is disappointing. I know it was only Gateshead at Aldershot, but it was like we seem to find a bit of, good balance in work ethic and, desire and whatever you want to call it. But yesterday it just wasn't there. And it's disappointing because, like I said, Southend, that's one of the teams that I like to beat after last season.
Yeah, so they've been rubbing it in.
Well, to be fair, I mean, it is really the first time they've properly beat us. I mean, we drew 3 times 2-2 last season, and then we beat them at home this season. So it is really, they were due a win, but it was just the manner in how we lost it, I think, is the more disappointing thing. I've said it quite a few times, like, I don't mind losing a game. You can take losing a game, but I think it's the manner in how you lose the game is the difference to the frustration of the fans feel.
Yeah. And just before we move on to the playoffs then, you mentioned just there about there's a couple of players you said the Southend commentary said think they're better than what they are. And again, this is no dig at Robbie, but Robbie does overpraise 1 or 2, doesn't he? Who says they're brilliant and stuff like. Do you think they're starting to believe too much of what Robbie's saying? So that's not dig at Robbie for saying it, because a manager would always defend Dave. The manager would always defend their team and praise it. Like I said, the good man management is not chucking them under the bus and stuff like that. But do you think that maybe he needs to speak to a couple and say, look, you're good, but don't act like you're better than what you are, because the reason you're playing at National League level is because you're still learning.
Yeah. Someone needs to be done. I mean, I know like you said, you don't, as a manager, you don't want to chuck him under the bus. But they are frustrating. A lot of the time, and it just seems that a couple of them can't do any wrong. They play that bad and whatever, but then they still start the next game. Do you know what I mean? It's frustrating, really. Like I said, it's probably going to sound a little bit harsh, but I don't really care. But Gilly, I don't want to see him in the Forest Green top from now to the end of the season. Personally, that's my opinion. I've watched enough of him. I've seen enough of him. I reckon we should just cut ties with him and send him back to Sheffield United.
Oh, that's a sharp one, Sean.
Honestly, like, he is so frustrating to watch. I would just stick Knowlesy out on the wing.
But do you think that though, Sean? Do you think that could be again? Because surprisingly, is he like 22? Is he 22?
He's quite young. I ain't sure on his exact age.
I might be wrong. Let me just double
He
check.
just doesn't. He just doesn't track back. Like I said, he doesn't release the ball. He doesn't, when at the right times, he keeps hold of it. He's a sort of lad that he'll take someone on and then he'll spin round and then he'll take him on again. Like he's showing off. He's just got, to me, I don't know. With his mentality and his temperament, I don't think he's going to make it above this level.
It sounds a bit like Ethan Archer to me.
I can't really comment.
I'd say Ethan's better than Gilly, but I get your thinking, Chris.
I think I've compared him, and I don't know. Do you remember Kane Woolery?
Yeah,
we had him on loan the last time he got promoted. He reminds me a lot of him. Like we had him on loan, I think, from Wigan, and you could see he had a lot of ability, but it was just. I think that was more his attitude, and I think Jill is exactly the same.
Well, the thing is, this is a make or break now, Sean, for him, isn't it? Like, just looking at his stats now. Obviously, he's at Sheffield United. He's played once for Sheffield United, and that was in 2021. He went on loan to Motherwell, didn't play at all. He played 22 times for Rochdale last season without scoring, and he's scored 5 and 25 for Forest Green this season. But he is 22 years of age. You'd think that he's actually like 19 or something like that. But this is kind of make or break for him now, because if it doesn't work out with Forest Green, like you said, he's not going to get that move into the EFL, is he?
No, I'd be surprised if anyone in the EFL went for him, unless, I'd be very surprised. I was going to say maybe like a Harrogate or someone like that, but even then, I don't know if they would.
It is weird because, like, obviously, and I appreciate that you watch him a lot more than what I do. But some games I've seen him, like Scunthorpe away, I thought he was outstanding. And he showed like parts.
Yeah, he'll have the odd good game, but 9 times out of 10, like I said, he don't track back, he don't cross the ball. He sort of takes someone on and then he spin round and you find him taking them on again 2 or 3 times. He's one of these, like I said, he's got all the ability. I just don't think he's got the right attitude to be a footballer. Obviously I don't have all the social media things and that, but even like the videos and stuff that you see him doing on TikTok, he just doesn't even act like a footballer away from football. I just don't think, like I said, he's like a big game player. He's the sort of player that if you got to Wembley, I think you'd see a different Gilly, because he's on the big stage, but consistently through the season, he's very frustrating.
Because Robbie really likes him, doesn't he? He
does. I mean, I'm obviously Sean Eteluku's been out since we signed him from Macclesfield, and I always sit there and I always think to myself, now if that had been a different signing, if that was if he'd come in and he didn't pick up this injury that he's picked up and wasn't out for so long, would Gilly still be playing? I'm not too sure. I think Eteluku would get the nod over him. But I think Robbie don't feel like we've got many other options, and that's why Eteluku keeps getting the nod. But
he bought Eteluku in to play on the opposite side to Gilly, though, didn't he? He wanted them both out wide.
Yeah, sort of. Like I guess so. I don't really know Sean Eteluku too well, but from what I've heard from talking to some people, is they were like, he's like Gilly. Well, yeah, he's like Gilly, but on the opposite side. But obviously, that would then free someone up to go onto his side, I would imagine. But I don't know, really. I think it's just I don't know. He just keeps getting a nod. I don't know why. Like I said, he's been playing left back. I'd really like to see Kenji get a good run there now.
Yeah. What's happened to Morrison? There's all the talk about him coming in and doing well, and he's just literally disappeared.
I don't think he's probably cut it as much as he thought he would. I think he played in that game in the week against Yate, and someone said to me then, I don't know how he's been a sub for Bristol City. because he didn't. He struggled against Yate Town.
I did say this. And I got caught. I was being bitter, but I did say this as.
I mean, yeah, I'm not sure we'll see much of him between now and the end of the season.
Yeah, again, age-wise comes into it. Sean does as well. They step down and they're into like high prize season, if you like, and end up some players shrink, some players hit it head on.
Yeah, I think it's why you need to go to a team where you're going to be getting minutes and you're going to be played. There's no. It would be harsh to say he's not good enough, or he just needs to be playing. And maybe at a team with less pressure as well.
Yeah,
and he could then end up. So I think people look at like you look at Harry Boyes, who I just mentioned. We had him on loan years ago, and now he's one of the best sort of fullbacks in the league.
yeah. As Dave said, what was it? Rochdale fan said there at one point that you're only seven yards away from a player with a fire screen. But let's quickly talk about the playoffs, because in my opinion, I still think Forest Green are nailed on for the playoffs. It's going to be between Southend, Halifax, and maybe Hartlepool. But let's say Southend and Halifax for 7th. So out of the top 7, or should we say the top 8, because like I said, there's still one team outside who's still in it. You've won 4 games altogether, Sean, against the top 8. That was against Southend. You beat Halifax twice, and you beat Bournemouth, and you drew 3: York, Scunthorpe, and Bournemouth, and you've lost 7: York, Rochdale twice, Carlisle twice, Scunthorpe, Southend. Going towards the playoffs, do you have any concern about your form against the top 7/8 going into it? And the reason I say that because you've taken 15 from about 36 available.
Yeah, no. Start of the season, I wouldn't have. I think the way we've performed lately, against Carlisle in the first half, Southend, it would worry me a little bit, especially if we were away from home. But you never know. By then, we might have picked up a few more wins, got a bit more confidence. Ryan Innes or whoever might have got a bit more game time. Like, he'll be more back to his match sharpness. But yeah, I mean, the playoffs are just gamble anyway, and it don't matter how good you are when you look at like York last season. They were one of the most, I think, informed teams in the league, and they still didn't get through. So, I mean, I'm not too bothered. It is what it is, really.
Well, I'm just looking at your remaining fixtures. Obviously, you got Wealdstone, which Robbie said in his post match that is going to be real tough. They had a cracking result yesterday.
David's form, yeah.
Yeah, Tamworth away, hard game. I think they beat
Carlisle
yesterday away. The Lamb's an hard place to go to anyway. Eastleigh away, pitches every time. When we went there once with Cheltenham, the pitch was like Blackpool Beach. It was horrendous. And then you're looking Brackley, Truro, Braintree, Hartlepool, and Morecambe. But you look at those fixtures and people to go, I've been guilty of saying it, but pretty much all those teams I just said there, apart from maybe Wealdstone and Tamworth, have all got something to play for.
Yeah, I don't think we've done too well against them already this season. I think, we drew with Truro, lost to Brackley. I think we drew with Braintree as well, didn't we?
Yes.
So, whichever way you look at it, it's, I know it's a bit of a cliche and everyone always says there's no easy game. But especially when they're fighting for something at this end of the season, it's going to be tough. So we just got to hope we can get a couple more wins just to cement the playoffs, really.
I guarantee you'll be in the playoffs. I think I've still got the Forest Green shirt somewhere from my my stag do. If Forest Green drop out, I would do the last pod of the season wearing that Forest Green shirt. I'm that confident you'll get in the playoffs.
Oh, that kind of makes me want to go up next season, eh?
But I did offer to Martin. I think because my wife is friends with Martin, but Martin's kind of family to Charlie. So and she's offered the kit to him, and he said he would have it, but not got around to taking it over. So yeah, I'll be glad to get rid of it. But that
Have you told him it's got Delvin's one on the back?
One on the back. Yeah, that's why nobody wanted it, Sean, because it's a brand new kit. Because it had Dale Vince one on it, nobody wanted it. But Martin was like, "Oh, I'll take it."
Devalued.
He very much devalued. So that is what I'll say. If Forest Green drop out the playoffs, because I'm not certain you get in the playoffs, I'll wear it one more time.
No, I do. I do think we're getting the playoffs. I think it's almost similar to what I said, to you boys about Cheltenham when you were on about the relegation relegation zone that last week. Like I said, I think Cheltenham was safe and they need a bit of a reset. I think we're pretty much in the playoffs. I think I wouldn't say we need a reset, but I think we need to refresh and regroup and then, go into them and see what we can do.
I do get it. It is. I
think our only saving grace is like Southend have got a few games and I mean, they're playing Rochdale on Tuesday night, and obviously Rochdale need to win to keep a bit of a gap between them and York. So I think we'd be all right. But obviously, if Southend do what they do, play like they played against us yesterday, I think they give Rochdale a good game.
No, I do get it. Like I said, you mentioned about Cheltenham. You know you're safe, but you're still kind of just looking over your shoulder, going,
"Yeah." I think that's the same with us. But yeah, the only way we drop out is if we go between now and the end of the season, lose every game, and I don't think that's going to happen myself. But
yeah, no,
anyway, because it's probably be terrible if it is.
and just to finish on, there wasn't a lot to take from Robert Singh apart from that. One thing I will say, we all give him stick and wind him up, but he's honest, and his post match was very honest. There was no excuses. He said that you was poor. Said that Southend deserved their win, could have won by more. Same what you said, Sean. But yeah, and that's
to be fair, I think he's been like that most of the season. I know he's taken a lot of stick and what have you, but it's not the first time he said that this season, is it? I mean, I can't remember. He said it after one of the other games that that they were the better side and what have you. So yeah, he's generally pretty honest in his things after the game.
Yeah.
You just need to answer me what next signing is going to be, because
I'm waiting.
They're going to need one.
I'm waiting for the windmill, mate. I'm waiting for the windmill. Brilliant. Right, that's Forest Green Rovers. Thanks, Sean. Let's go on to Cheltenham Town, sponsored by Emirates Racing. Find them on all your socials and online, and get in contact if you've got any questions. Chris, let's start off with the Fleetwood game. A wet, windy night up north. I will admit it was horrendous not being able to be there, because I work every week and watching it on telly. I can't get used to that. Were you happy with the starting lineup?
Yeah.
We'll make a very good pod if that's your answer all the way through, mate.
Short and sweet.
What I mean is,
sorry, mate, it was a surprising question. I didn't expect it. I was, absolutely fine.
Yeah, I'm more talking about Ashfield come in. We wanted him to start against Barrow, but it's probably safe to say you'd probably look at Luke Young as the player you'd want to start at Fleetwood on the pitch they had and all that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, no, I'll agree with you there, but I don't have a problem with anyone in our squad really starting a game. It's no issues from me.
And Miller for Davison. What do you think is
I probably personally I would have started Davison over Miller in that game personally.
Yeah. What's your thoughts on the striker rotations? Because Cut seems to like to change him every game, doesn't he?
Yeah, it's looking that way. I don't have a big issue with it, but it does. I was a striker when a very bad one when I played, and what you want is consistency and a good consistent run in the team, and they're not. Albeit, we've had a lot of games. We've had, we've been Saturday, Tuesday for quite a while, but you still want to get that run of games. So yeah, that chopping and changing that is not something I'm a big fan of. But I can see why he's doing it. He wants to try and keep them fresh. They both offer completely different things. I mean, George Miller is terrible as a hold-up striker, whereas Davison has shown us that he can do that job very well. Yeah, I would rather one striker start most games, but they're both good enough to start, so I don't mind.
Yeah. It was a scrappy opening 15 minutes, wasn't it? The pitch was playing a huge part in the game. Would you say it's safe to say that Fleetwood played, especially first half, played the pitch the better?
Played the pitch and the conditions a lot better. And I said this in our little group chat. That neither team were particularly good. It's got to be said. Neither team were good, but Fleetwood were playing the conditions much better than us.
Yeah, well, they took the lead. The defence dropped off Helm, and Cottrell said in his post match he was quite annoyed of it. He said because they'd done a lot of work on Helm and the pockets he drops into and what he likes to do, getting onto his strongest foot. But the goal, despite the defence dropping off, which was poor, the goal reminds me, if anybody remembers Tim Flowers against Liverpool years ago at Ewood Park, when I think Stan Collymore takes a shot and it is literally bobbling across the floor. Flowers goes down to collect it, and it hits a divot and goes over the top of him. It's pretty much carbon copy, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's unfortunate because I do think Day saves that. If the pitch is a carpet, but unfortunately it certainly wasn't a carpet. So yeah, it took a bobble over him, and sometimes these things happen, and we were on the unfortunate end of it this time. Yeah, but I do think Day saves that if it doesn't bobble up.
Yeah, 100%. I wouldn't say Cheltenham were poor. I think it's just about what we just said there about how Fleetwood play the conditions and the pitch better. But Cheltenham's probably best couple of chances, and one of them I'm very reluctant to call it a chance, but Ashfield had a really good shot from the edge of the area. The keeper spilt it and Miller couldn't react. And Thomas had a free kick where he puts it into the near post, but nobody kind of gambles. The Miller one, do you think I'm being a bit harsh? Do you think Miller could have been on his toes a bit more, or do you think the keeper reacted quicker than I'm giving him credit for?
Well, that's Miller's game. He is a little fox in the box, and he does follow everything up really quickly. I do think you're probably being a little bit on the harsh side, but yeah, I wouldn't class either of them as good chances anyway. So
no, exactly. I agree with that. And it looked like it was going in at half time, Chris, at 1-0. But this one I was disappointed with. Again, everybody dropped off Helm on the edge of the area. The ball was able to get fed into him. He gets it onto his right foot. He even has a look up to where he's going to put it, and it's a great finish. But the defending side of it, again, it was so poor, wasn't it?
It's a really, really good finish. I thought there were a lot of people being quite harsh on the defence because it's a great finish. It's a really good finish. However, in hindsight, looking back, it is too easy for him to get it on his right foot, and we should have done better in that moment. Harry Ashfield probably doesn't get close enough, quick enough, and that allows him the opportunity to cut onto his strong foot and put it there. But yeah, I mean, once the shot's been taken, you can't take anything away from the finish. It's a fantastic finish. it's the build up to that, unfortunately. And yeah, it's again one of those. If you give them the opportunity to have a go and play the lottery, sometimes they're going to score.
Yeah, no, 100%. And that took us into half time, but it was a strange half, wasn't it? Like, we're 2-0 down. Neither side had been brilliant, but Fleetwood had their two chances. You take the first goal away because, as you said, because had it not for been from the pitch, that doesn't bobble over Joe Day, and Day gathers it in. But you go in 2-0, and I've sat there, I was a bit deflated, and I was thinking, none of them have been brilliant. None of them have been absolutely dire. It was just horrible conditions, and we found ourselves 2-0 down.
Yeah, neither team were good. Neither team were particularly bad. It was a bit of a nothing game first half, but they managed to score 2 goals.
Yeah. So it goes in 2-0. All to do in the second half. But Cheltenham get the goal back. A lovely diagonal ball by Thomas out to Bickerstaff. He gets onto the fullback. He's probably thinking, "Where's that Dan Hopkins?" Because every time our wingers get the ball out, all you can hear from the stands is "Get at him, and that's usually me shouting all the time. But obviously, I wasn't there. He cuts in Chris, bit of a tame shot, but it comes back to Jordan Thomas, and he rifles it in, doesn't he?
He's absolutely fit, isn't he?
He does. He fires it into the roof of the net, and that's his 7th. Not including yesterday's, but that's the 7th goal of the season. And for someone who had a long time out injured, he's starting to top those numbers up, isn't he?
Yeah, it's the more I see of Jordan Thomas, the more disappointed I'm going to be in the summer when he isn't here anymore.
Yeah. And Cheltenham were definitely the better side in the second half. The tempo was there, wasn't it? They was trying to pass it quicker, but I was noticing the passing we was doing. We was trying to hit the diagonals a bit more. When we found a nice bit of grass to play on, we was trying to. We was just moving the ball quicker, wasn't we, Chris?
Yeah, we were playing better. We were playing the conditions a bit better. We were still trying to. In my opinion, it was, and I said this in our group. Sorry, Dave distracted me then. It was it was a long ball. The conditions was a long ball game. You should have played a long ball game. And when we got those diags going and then played off it, it was a lot better than first half where we were. In fairness, we were trying to play the way we played yesterday, which was keep the ball, pass the ball all over the pitch. But we'll cover that in a minute. But yeah, we played the conditions a lot better second half, and we were by far and away the better team. But I still don't think we played well.
No, we didn't. But we was talking about the passing and how we was moving it quicker, and that led to the penalty, Chris. Cheltenham, the ball goes into Isaac Hutchinson, and George Miller, I've seen on X, he's had some pouters saying that he was useless. I think saying useless is a bit harsh. I think he wasn't in the game, but his touch. Well, I say it was one touch. His reverse ball back to Hutchinson for Hutchinson to get the penalty was unreal, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, that was excellent. He was anonymous throughout the entire game, other than that moment. And that moment was the most important moment of the game for him. And it was a lovely little deft touch, and it gave Isaac Hutchinson no other choice but to go exactly where he went, and the defender no other choice but to do exactly what he did, and we won a penalty.
Yeah, and again, we talk about penalties all the time, about players' reactions. The Fleetwood players were literally berating their defender for making the challenge, and the defender was then moaning at the referee why he'd given it. Like, even our players were like, "It's a certain penalty." He literally clumbers him, and obviously Hutchinson's really good from the spot, but I did worry the pitch, the conditions in front of the home end, but he dispatched it beautifully. 16th goal of the season.
It was an excellent penalty. I was a penalty taker back in the day, but I would never ever take a penalty if I won it. It was just a little superstition of mine, and I hate seeing players that win a penalty taking a penalty. It's just one of those things. I hate it. But it was a fantastic penalty. Can't take anything away from it. He strikes it beautiful, yeah, lovely.
You are right. The pressure, I can't comprehend what players at professional level go through with fans around them. I can always remember taking a penalty in a county cup final, and I was going bottom right corner, and I ended up going into the roof right down the middle. So it tells you the pressure what was on that penalty. It didn't go where I wanted it to go. So you imagine like thousands of fans like calling you all the names under the sun. So yeah, it was a pressure penalty and he took it. But Cheltenham could have won it, Chris. The ball put into the box by Demon, and I just can't work it. It's a carbon copy of Harrogate away. Just can't work out what Midler's doing.
Don't even get me started. It was a sitter. It's a sitter. It's as simple as that. He's got to score. I don't care what you put it in with. Just put it in.
Chuck your body at it.
He didn't even have a shot.
No, I've seen a couple of people saying that maybe the ball span away from him and it just couldn't.
He didn't even try and have a shot, Dan.
But it's just got to. You're right. It's just like just hit it like Davison did with his goal. Just let it hit your thigh and it goes in because he's that close. And that was the major chance for Cheltenham to win it.
Yeah, I was fuming. I was absolutely fuming with that. But it is what it is.
I was. My wife was telling me to calm down because my daughter was in bed and I was being shouted at the telly. But Cheltenham done what Cheltenham done. What Cheltenham usually do. We try and find a way to lose the game after working so hard to get back into it. They hit the bar from the angle and also have a chance cleared off the line in literally the dying seconds. But we just kind of sat back in those last 5-10 minutes.
Yeah, I think we'd settle for a point.
Yeah. And it was a good point. Very good point.
It's a good away point. Look, Fleetwood, that pitch is a horrible place to go. And I don't mean that disrespectfully to Fleetwood at all. But it's not. It's never a good away trip, Fleetwood. It's a really tough place to get any points, and we got one, so I'll take it.
Yeah, well, it looks like Blackpool have got a chance of coming down. Fleetwood will be down every summer when we look at the fixtures. Me and the wife were like, let's get them in April. Let's get them in like August so we can have a week up there. Every time we play Fleetwood or Blackpool, it's always like in January. So we've got 2 chances next season. I bet one will be in January and the other one will be in February. I guarantee it away. On to Cotswold.
On a Tuesday night as well.
Yeah, guaranteed. Yeah, I don't mind that because you can have a week up there if it's in August or Easter time. Like Sean, fell on it, hasn't he? They've got Truro away for Easter. So he's having a nice week down.
Yeah, but the other thing with Blackpool is if you get them around sort of December, you can go up and see the lights.
Yeah, there is that good shout. But like
Silver linings.
Yeah, there is. Sean's having a week down in Truro in a couple of weeks' time because he's Horace Green got Truro on the Easter holiday.
I might even go to the game.
I wouldn't bother. So.
Oh, he hasn't told her that bit yet. Oh, love, did you know that Forest Green are playing today? And Cos thoughts it was a very short interview. Just said it was a big point, and it was because it put Cheltenham 10 points clear, didn't it, going into the weekend's games? And we know our run, Chris, starting with yesterday, was going to be is tough.
Yeah, we have got a tough run. We've got probably, I'd say, the toughest out of the lot. But I'm not even looking over my shoulder anymore.
Yeah. Well, let's go on to yesterday's game. I've got a voice note from Pete Matthews. I would apologise because if he mentions the Fleetwood game, he does. Yeah, doesn't swear. But he might mention the Fleetwood game as well. But I thought I'd put it for now rather than at the beginning because obviously it covers the both games. This is what Pete had to say.
This was a really decent away performance. Cheltenham were really good at Shrewsbury. We'll come on to Fleetwood in a minute, but at Shrewsbury, Cheltenham played very well. Shrewsbury, I thought, were pretty one-dimensional. But Dermot should have scored early. But other than that, they really had very little to do. And Cheltenham, who had lots of the ball because Shrewsbury don't seem to want the ball. They had a lot of players behind the ball in the first half. Cheltenham, I thought, were pretty comfortable. I thought Josh Davison had an outstanding game up front. He held the ball up well, brought players into the game. The defence was well marshalled by James Wilson. And overall, I thought Cheltenham were well worth their win. 2 good goals. Jordan Thomas with a great finish on the edge of the penalty after being set up by Davison. And then Sam Sherring arriving at the back post. Good to see Cheltenham score from a corner rather than concede from a corner. Fleetwood was a bit attritional for those of us who was there. It was an absolutely filthy night. The rain coming in off the coast, driving into the players' faces. Cheltenham really up against it in the first half, even allowing for that 2 really poor goals. Mark Helm is clearly a very good player. You don't want him to be allowed time on his right foot. Cheltenham gave him time on his right foot twice with predictable consequences. But great resilience in the second half. Jordan Thomas with a fine goal. And then inevitably, Isaac Hutchinson for the best move of the match, it has to be said. There wasn't much good football played, a combination of the conditions and the pitch. But Cheltenham had the best move of the match. Miller to Hutchinson, a clear penalty. So 7 games unbeaten for Steve Cottrell's men, pulling away nicely out of trouble. And thoughts, although not for the manager, it has to be said, will start to turn to what the squad will look like for next season.
Brilliant. Thanks, Pete.
Can someone check Pete's house? I think it's burning down.
It's good of Pete to record it whilst on a train that was braking to avoid a collision.
I thought he was over on a train.
Or I thought he was in the insect section at a zoo.
or he's got the tumble dryer going.
The jungle.
But brilliant, yeah, brilliant as usual. Did you agree with that, Chris?
I couldn't hear it.
I'm not playing it again.
No, yeah, he's as usual. Pete's spot on. I don't really know what I'm doing here.
And let's just go on to yesterday's game then. So I think we all agreed that their league form was outstanding. They had 6 wins out of 7. It was the informed team in the Football League. And even in the prediction league, I had us down to losing. But especially after Tuesday night, there's a couple of games that happened before. Crawley played Thursday night. Was it Thursday night Crawley played? No, Friday night. Crawley played Friday night against Colchester and drew 0-0. Harrogate lost very late to Salford. So it was just, we start at the game yesterday, it was that feeling Chris was just going around with the fans going, a win today, and we can stop saying that, oh, we've got to look over our shoulder, and that's exactly what we did.
Yeah, look, they were in cracking form, as you alluded to, and although I did predict us to win, I was nervous about the game because they have been in such good form, but I didn't actually think they were very good.
No. I was surprised what they looked like considering the form they'd been on. But it was a lively start to the game, Chris. Shrewsbury should have taken the lead literally in the first minute. A bit of indecisiveness from Wilson. The ball gets put through. Cundy's sort of like hesitant, but the lad goes through into the box. It's on the angle I'm sat, and I'm thinking it's nestling bottom corner, and he puts it wide. It was should have been 1-0 down, shouldn't we?
Yeah, we probably should have been. But what I will say is really uncharacteristic of James Wilson. He's been really solid, and he's been really, really good for us, particularly lately. So it's really uncharacteristic of him. But they probably should have scored that. And thankfully they didn't, because it probably would have been a different game.
Yeah, and like I said, it was a lively start because they had that chance. We went straight down the other end, and Dutch had never had a glorious chance, and sort of just couldn't get it out of his feet. He sort of like snatched at it, didn't he? Yeah,
and you expect, and this is really unfair, because you expect Hutch to score those now, because of the form he's been in, because of how good he's been. You expect him to score them, and he just hit it straight at the keeper, unfortunately. It was one of those, and it probably should have been 1-1 at that stage.
Yeah, because at the stage, it did feel like that both teams were going for it, didn't it? It was quite open in those first 20 minutes.
Yeah, how wrong we were.
Yes. Shrewsbury had it was probably their last good chance. They had a free kick on the edge of the area. It hit the top of the bar, but it was one of those ones. It hits the bar, but Day has it covered, doesn't he?
It was never going in. It clipped the top of the bar. I mean, if you see the replay, it looks like it hits more of the bar because it does go like up after it's hit the bar, but it's never going in, and Day had it covered. So I wasn't never worried.
I sat right behind it, and Dave was literally just like that, and he didn't seem to.
Yeah, he pulled his arm away.
Yeah. And then the game settled down a bit. I think both teams sort of started to suss each other out, and quite surprisingly, like again, my biggest bugbear, their goalkeeper goes down in about the 25th minute. They called all their players over, changed their tactics, but they sort of like, it seemed like they were setting up for the counter attack, which was strange because anybody who knows Steve Cottrell's a possession-based manager, so I don't know how Shrewsbury were expecting to let Cheltenham come on to them.
Yeah, the game completely changed on that minute, and then we dominated the rest of the game. It was the exact tactic that we are good at. We're very good at keeping hold of the ball and trying to open up the opposition. Although for a time it didn't look like we were going to. It was definitely the way we would prefer to play, I'd say.
Yeah, no, exactly. And then just before halftime, we had a couple of chances. The first one, we broke away from their set piece. Bickerstaff, again, he was one-on-one with a defender, and he just couldn't get it out of his feet. But the biggest one again come to Hutchinson just before halftime. It's about 16 yards out, and he fires over, Chris.
Yeah, look, you mentioned Bickerstaff. I actually thought that the wingers had a poor first half, both of them. I didn't think they were in the game at all, really. And yeah, look, it was a chance, but I wouldn't say it was a particularly good chance.
Yeah. And then let's go into the second half where it was a totally different game. Cheltenham, like I said, one thing Cheltenham done well yesterday, Chris, is they kept the ball. I think they had like 468 passes to Shrewsbury's 300 and something. That's what Cottrell does. That's his football. He's possession based, isn't he? But it paid off. They was moving the ball quicker again. Maybe one of the reasons we were causing them problems in the second half.
Yeah, and the diags were there as well. It was really nice to see us play some actual really decent football at times. It was really good, really good. We were allowed to.
Yeah, and it's fair to say that one thing that Cheltenham are guilty of is I think we try and score the perfect goal. We go one pass too many, but when it comes to Jordan Thomas's goal, that is what we scream all the time. You shoot, you score. That's why I put on X yesterday. You shoot, you score, because it could come to Thomas. He brings it down, hits it with his left foot, rifles in the bottom corner. Great goal.
Yeah, look, one thing worth mentioning is it's a really, really, really good flick on by Davison. He's done really well there because I don't think he was favourite to win that header. So it was a really good flick on, really nice control. Then he sort of took a little touch to set the shot up and took the shot, megged the defender. I love those as well. And it's really clean contact as well. He really struck it true. And like you say, rifled into the bottom corner. Happy days.
Yeah. Let's talk about Davison, because he was outstanding yesterday, wasn't he? He was probably, I put on X, Chris, and I don't know if you agree with this. It's probably one of the best lone striker performances you're likely to see.
I think that's a bit over the top, but he was good. He was definitely good, mate. But I don't think it was one of the best.
He was occupying Sam Stubbs and Will Boyle two of the
Oh,
most.
no. Look, I agree with you in that he was very, very good. Was he one of the best lone strike performances I've ever seen in my life? Probably not.
Not ever likely to see. I said likely. But yeah,
From Josh Davison, yes, I'll agree with you.
yeah, yeah. I just think he was. I just think he was brilliant. I just think he epitomised everything Cheltenham were in that second half. Like Will Boyle, we watched Will Boyle for years playing for Cheltenham, and one thing Will Boyle does,
Good
and
strike, good defender.
Sam Stubbs last season against strikers, we was like, oh, he's gonna have a tough one today, and he dominated them because Josh Davison's not the tallest, is he?
He's not massive, no, as
No.
in tall. He is massive. He's hench as hell, but he's certainly not tall. There's a lot taller than him.
Yeah,
me for one.
but the way he put himself about, and like I said, what I liked what he was doing. He was looking at the centre half when the ball was coming up, and then he wasn't doing the typical where he'd look at the centre half and give away a stupid foul. He quickly look at the centre half, position his body, and then like Boyle or Stubbs wasn't able to get over the top of him or come around the side of him, and he was just like one time passes, and then
that's what I liked. That's what I really liked was was once he had it, once he won it, it was straight to someone else, and progressing the ball with one touch pass, and it was that side of his game was excellent, absolutely excellent.
Yeah, he was my man of the match by a country mile yesterday. On the 71st minute, it's a really funny goal, this one, because we have a corner and we only send 5 players forward. Forward, Dave, forward, before you jump in. We only send five players up. And I'm looking like,
I'd stick with that.
They pretty much got everybody bar 2. I think two players behind the ball. And the ball comes in, and what a finish by Sam Sheeran. It was like a striker's finish, wasn't it?
I've got to say this, right? From a corner, how the hell is it allowed to go to a centre-back's foot on the floor inside, like just outside the 6-yard box? How is that possible?
Yeah. Yeah,
and they are brilliant. They've been Shrewsbury are in the top, I think, 3 for least set piece goals conceded in the whole division. That was dreadful.
I agree with you, Chris. I do. Because, like I said,
we're normally talking about us being dreadful at set pieces, by the way. But it was nice to be on the other end of it for once.
It was, and the weird thing was, like I said, because they was almost double the man to what we had in the box, because we was happy to take the 1-0, not overcommit. Yeah. But it was a great finish, though. We didn't need to.
Oh, mate, yeah, no, look, I didn't answer your actual question, which was it was a great finish, wasn't it, Chris? Yes, it really was. Any striker would have been pleased with that finish, because a lot of players would have blazed that over the bar, I think.
Yeah,
because it was on the bounce. He's done really well to keep it basically on the floor, and I thought it was one thing I did like about it was it went in exactly the same place that Jordan Thomas
did. Yeah.
I really enjoyed that.
It was a good goal, and it's that. And we talked about Jordan Thomas. 2 goals in 2 games for him. Steve Cotter's got a massive job replacing Hutchinson and Thomas in the summer, because as much as we would love to think it, those 2 players will not be at Cheltenham next season, will they?
Nope. Unfortunately not, no. I would absolutely love it, because they are, if we're going to challenge towards the top end of the table next season, which I think we're more than capable of with Mike Garlick in the club and with Cottrell as manager, I think we're more than capable of challenging at the top end of the table. And I'm not saying we're going to win the league next year, because that's stupid. But we should be certainly challenging at the top end of the table. Those 2 players I would say, would be pivotal to that. So replacing them is one hell of a challenge that the recruitment team have got.
Yeah, I had somebody ask me at the game yesterday, and they was going, Dan, what do you think? Do you think Hutchinson and Thomas will be here? I went, Hutchinson, absolutely no chance. I said, no matter what,
They'll be in League One next year.
He'll be in League One. He scored
Both of them will.
16 goals, Chris Hutchinson scored from midfield. That is some return, and plus the assist. And then Jordan Thomas. I think Thomas is really enjoying it at Cheltenham, but I also think that maybe the agent is trying to see if what's out there for him. And there's going to be League One clubs. He scored 8 goals this season. He was injured for almost 2.5 months of that, on top of last season. So I think all in all, he's approaching 15 odd goals for Cheltenham. He's been brilliant, but set ourselves as a disappointing name, Chris. We know they're not going to be here.
Ben Stevenson?
I think Cheltenham got an option on Ben Stevenson, and Tompkinson.
And Tompkinson, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, again, I know that they've sat down with Thomas.
Yeah, he was offered a contract before January, wasn't he?
Yeah, but I don't think, and I don't think it's solely Thomas. The murmurs I've heard is, I think his agent wants to see what's out there. Also, we had a little rumor that Cottrell's basically said to him, "Give me 1 more year, and you won't go for an average League One club. I will get you a move to a Championship club." So whenever they say like, "Give me 1 more year to finish your progression," but let's see. But I'm 99% sure that we won't have it either year next season.
I would love it if they stayed, by the way. Absolutely love it. But I just don't see it.
No,
but on the flip side of that, let's take us back to January, because I said there is absolutely no way that Isaac Hutchinson is coming back to the club, and he's back. So you never know.
The only way sorry, Dave, go on.
That shows what Chris knows, then, doesn't it?
Absolutely nothing, mate, and I'm proud of it.
The only way Isaac Hutchinson ends up at Cheltenham, this is the only scenario, is a Bristol Rovers price him out of a move to another club. Cheltenham, my God, it goes, here, go get him, and they can show that we're gonna have a go next season, because don't forget, Cheltenham start their pre-season tour in Spain at the beginning of July. So that tells you, and I've been told this, that Cheltenham want to get their business done early to give the chance for those players to go out to Spain and bond and team bonding. There's no point.
Is he not out of contract with Bristol Rovers at the end of the season?
He's got 1 year left.
No, he's got another year.
Got a year left, has he?
Yeah. He won't be at Bristol Rovers, but it depends whether Bristol Rovers price him out of that.
Yeah.
Good move, if you know what I mean. Because their fans are getting excited online by going every goal he scores at Cheltenham's putting his price tag up. But
the thing is, if it's League One clubs, I can't imagine many of them will get priced out.
No, you're right, Sean. But if we're talking, and this is obviously just off the top of my head, but if we're talking maybe Stevenage, maybe a Burton Albion or something like that, they may get priced out. Say again?
MK Dons, if they go up.
When they go up, they will be going up.
I love it, but if you look at MK Dons midfield, Alex Gilby, Aaron Nemain, Hepburn Murphy, the names go on. I don't know whether Hutch would take that risk of going to MK Dons. I don't know that for sure. But I think his next move has to be at a club where, like he has been with Cheltenham, he feels loved.
He's a big fish in a small pond, opposed to a like medium fish in a big pond.
Yeah, because he is a confidence player, and it just shows. What
are you laughing at?
I was just trying to think of what small fish, maybe tadpole, halibut.
But I here go with my blessing, because he's been a major part in us not getting dragged into anything. So
the job he's done for us, mate, is incredible. And like you say, without him, we would be down there. So
so game finishes, Chris. 12 points clear. 14 of Harrogate, who are bottom. It's important. We're safe now, aren't we? But it's been important now that we don't get complacent, and we still keep ticking along, picking up points.
Yeah, and the other thing I want to add is I think we've only got 2 players contracted, or maybe 3 contracted for next season. So there's a lot of players playing for a contract, either at this club or at another club.
Yeah.
And if they're seen to be on the beach, so to speak, the likelihood of them getting a contract with us or anywhere else is diminished.
Yeah, 100% agree. And we know Cottrod, I go on to his post-match now, said was really happy with the performance. Magnificent. He used the word magnificent. It's his turn this week to use the word magnificent. It's basically after a tough game in midweek, it makes the result even better. Bit of joking with JP. I don't know whether you've seen the joking with JP. And Isaac Hutchinson's dad retweeted and said he's got a bit of Brian Clough about him the way he is. But that was because John Palmer asked the question, "What's your plans for the next 10 games?" And he was like, obvious. Well, I'm going to win. We're going to win.
Yeah.
He won't let those players come off it, will he?
No, it's not the Cottrell way, and unfortunately for those players that think they can just cruise now, it will be a sharp awakening for them, I'm sure.
Yeah. Brilliant. Thanks, Chris. That's
Welcome.
Cheltenham Town. Let's go on to Gloucester City. Dave, I bet you've been dreading this one, haven't you?
Yeah, do we have to, really? We have to go on to Gloucester.
You're one of the most positive guys I know. You're always smiling. But I could tell you was annoyed last night because you was even quiet on socials.
Not annoyed, just disappointed, really. We've loved what we've put together in the last 8 games. We've really been playing well, playing some good football. And then you just can't cope, can you, with the majority of the team having an off day on the same day. You can cope with a couple, but like nobody played well. Ellis Watts just didn't.
Probably frustrating as well because Farnham dropped points, didn't they?
Exactly, yeah. I mean, it's weird, isn't it? It's like that double-edged sword that you like. If you lose, you want them to lose, but then you think, bloody hell, if they've lost, if we'd have done what we should have done, and it would have been a great weekend. But we didn't. We played very, very poorly. We didn't really create a lot. Pretty dire game. Awful pitch, bobbly. Played a lot of long balls. Simpson's out of sorts. He had a good chance in the first few minutes. The ball come across, I'm sure.
Well, I'm glad we weren't the worst team on this pod.
Reginald has got logged and he'll go through it item by item. But yeah, it was just a very, very poor day at the office and a very disappointing.
Yeah, like I say, you go on to the game. Sean touched it on there. It was a big day, really, wasn't it? Because like Farnham was playing Wharton, so either way, you could have ended the day either 6 points clear of Farnham or 6 points behind Wharton.
We did neither.
And you did neither. And like when I obviously got back home and I sat down and started prepping for the pod, and I'd seen you'd lost 1-0. I was like, wow, because it was a game.
Why was pretty good. Actually, if you could see it early, it looked out of sorts. We weren't stringing the passing together. It was difficult to run with the ball on the pitch. It was difficult to pass the ball. We ended up being dragged into just hitting it long, and it's not what we do. And it was just very disappointing. Very disappointing day out.
You mentioned Simpson. He had a great chance in 15 minutes in at the back post. Even Daft turned around and said that he thinks he should have scored that.
Yeah, Riley Siddle got free the right back, got in behind him, put it along the 6-yard box, and Simpson's there to tap it in and just failed to make contact, really. I don't know if I think he must have got a glance in contact because it was given as a goal kick, but it just didn't really get on the end of it. It's one of those that we've talked about, if he got hit his knee or his thigh or his arse, it would have been in the back of the net from that range, but he just didn't get contact on it. And really, that was the only real clear-cut chance we had, I think.
Yeah, and you mentioned there about the pitch, and obviously they was playing a certain way that dragged you into playing that way. But obviously, we've spoken in depth about Forest Green, Cheltenham, and other clubs. Like you're at the point of the season now where funny results do happen. But with a player like Simpson up front, Dave, you would expect him to be the ideal striker, that if you need to go long, to be able to hold that ball up.
And there's no quality in the final third, really. There's no going long isn't too bad, is it? If it's the right ball, but it just seemed a lot of aimless and ball going out of play, and it was just poor day at the office.
Yeah, and obviously you was keeping an eye on the Farnham result.
Yeah, I saw
Walton.
Walton won 1-0 up, and to be honest, I was kind of hoping Walton would win. I was hoping we'd win, and I still don't think we'll. I definitely don't now, but I didn't think we'd catch Walton at the top or finish top. So I was more hopeful that Farnham would drop points and go on a wobble and waste their games in hand, and we could hang on to second. But it's going to be a real scrap now for us, Farnham and Poole, who won yesterday. They won yesterday, so it's very tight. Farnham, you say we've got to be in the box seat for second place now. I don't think they'll catch Walton. They could well. I don't know if they'd have won yesterday, but losing, I think that's a bridge too far now. But I think Farnham are definitely in the box seat for second place. And then you start to think, well, we want to finish, if we can't get second, which we can still do, but third, at least you get a home semi in the playoffs if you get third. But Poole are only a couple of points behind us now. So yeah, it's going to be a tight run-in, but a lot of football to be played yet.
Yeah, 100%. And you know, you go in at half time, it's 0-0. You haven't played very well. Was it kind of the second half start the same as the first ended?
Yeah, it was much of a muchness, really. And then we had a red card, one of the more bizarre red cards you'd see. Morgan at left back had got a yellow card earlier in the game. A bit of referee was not too bad up until then, a bit fussy, but letting them, they were wasting time from very early on. Sort of like the keeper was like swapping sides of the 6-yard box to take goal kicks from the 15th, 20th minute. I think they knew it was going to be a sort of tight game, and if they were going to win it, it was going to be a 1-0. So they were happy to keep it at 0-0 for as long as possible. And he got a yellow card early-ish, and then bizarrely the ball's running out of play on the halfway line and by the dugouts, and the ball's running out of play. He's waiting for it to go out of play so he can just take the throw in. He's jogging behind it, and as it goes across the line, he picks it up. But the bench went up and appealed to the linesman, and the linesman judged that the curvature of the ball was overhanging the line when he picked it up. So he gave a free kick for handball and a second yellow for a deliberate handball. So there's no advantage. Letter of the law, I suppose. You can't argue, but it's just disappointing.
Yeah, but is there common sense there, Dave?
No common sense, is there? There's no common sense involved. But the referee would argue and the lines would argue it's the letter of the law. He hasn't deliberately handballed it on the grounds that he's actually picked the bloody thing up to take a throw in. If the ball is overhanging the line, the ball is still in play. It's picking. It's been very picky, but it is what it is. But to be honest, I don't think it really affected. I mean, we might have hung on for a draw with 11 men, but I don't think we never really, to me, looked like scoring. And I think blaming that incident, I don't think we can blame that incident. I don't think Dav would blame that incident. The reason we came away with nothing is because we probably deserved a point on the grounds they weren't any better than we were, really. It was just a poor game all round. It was like a day out spoilt by 90 minutes football, really. But we come out empty-handed, which is really disappointing.
Before we go on to their goal, just a bit more on that red card. That's actually Gloucester City's 10th of the season. And I know we've said, Dave, many times, haven't we, that some of those red cards have not been red cards. And it seems like that one shouldn't have been a red card.
This falls exactly into that category. You can't say the team's got a disciplinary problem. I mean, that's not dissent. That's not reckless challenge. That's just like picking the ball up for a throw-in and mistiming it by like a millisecond. I mean, what can you do? It's unlucky. Maybe it's a bit careless, but it's not discipline, is it? That's not a disciplinary problem, and it goes down on the records as another red card. So we'll miss him for the next game, but it is what it is.
I did see a tweet from the VOT, and he did actually say, and it was one of the questions I had, Dane, before I seen his tweet actually. Do you think he thinks that if Gloucester don't go out this season, the disciplinary record will play a big part in that. Do you agree with that comment?
We've undoubtedly dropped points. Taunton being the prime example. We have dropped points because we've not had 11 men or 10 men, or on one occasion 9 men on the pitch. So yeah, obviously that's going to have had an effect at the end of the season. But I don't feel it's an intrinsic problem with the squad that we've got a team full of like cheats or whingers or people who backtrack to the referee particularly, or go into challenges recklessly on a regular basis. I think it's just the rub of the green has really gone against us disciplinary wise this season. You'd like to think it evens itself up over a period of time, but it's getting a bit late to even up this season. But I think, I can't disagree, but I don't think we've got a disciplinary issue.
No. Obviously, the competition between you and Forest Green Rovers, I think Forest Green are just winning by 1. I think they've had 11 clean sheets, and you're now on 10 red cards. So nip and tuck going into the end of the season.
That could prove exciting, couldn't it? In the run in, it's all we'll be thinking about, Sean, isn't it? Yeah. Sod how many points of the league table. Let's keep an eye on the red cards and.
But the one game that stuck out for me, Dave, was the game you had at 3-3 the 3-3 game at home. I think you went down to 10 men in that one, but you was in total control, 2-0 up.
Yeah. Can't remember off the top of my head which red card that was, to be honest.
Was that Ed Williams red card?
That's the one that got rescinded. Then they got a penalty. Did they get a penalty as well? Yeah, that wasn't a red card. I mean, we lost the man on the day, but afterwards he wasn't banned, and it wasn't a red card. So you just lost out on the day. But have you counted that as a red card in our 10?
It got rescinded, didn't it? It did get rescinded, but it's still a red card on the day,
I think we've had two rescinded this season. So
yeah, it's still a red card on the day. That's so obviously it does go down as one. But
mistake on the day.
They take the lead, Dave, on the 68th minute. What was the goal like?
Little ball threaded to the striker with his back to goal on the edge of the 18-yard area. Turned and hit it. And I'm not going to criticise Jared really, because he's been superb lately and kept us in some games with some amazing saves, not least the one last week. But I think he'll probably be a bit disappointed he didn't stop it. I think it bounced in front of him and got a little bit of a bobble, but he got a good hand on it. I think he himself would normally expect to keep that out, but he just got a really good hand and seemed to push it up rather than to the side, and it just went inside the side netting. So, yeah, disappointing goal to concede, but you just felt it was coming. It was one of those days where we were poor, and you just had a funny feeling they were going to nick it, even though they probably didn't deserve it, but they did, and I can't say I was overly surprised when it went in.
Did you get the feeling that as the game was going on and they took the lead, was it that kind of, sometimes you go to places and they know, like, Gloucester City are in town, they're going for promotion. Did it feel like they was enjoying?
Oh, very much so. Yeah, they were well up for it. It was a bit of I hate the York Cup final, but it did have a bit of that sort of feeling to it. And you got to see the video of them celebrating in the changing rooms afterwards. And I'm not going to be the man who says, like, oh, bloody hell, I think they've won the World Cup, but it did seem like they were really, like, jumping around on tables and stuff. So yeah, they were well up for it, and fair play to them. It's like a tiny little place. Every house, as I was driving there, going through all these little villages, approaching, I was on Right Move, and I was just like typing in the name of the village we were going through, and it was like 850 grand for like a 1-bedroom cottage. It's like it's a very moneyed area, and there was hardly anybody there. They declared 400 odd, but it looked less to me. It looked about 300 to me, and I think we probably took 100, 120. So fair play to them. I mean, I don't know how they're funded, whether they've got a backer, or whether I don't even know whether their players are on like decent money, and whether they're a bit of a bankroll club, or whether they've just recruited well, but they were solid all over the pitch. They were organised and fair. Got to take your hat off to them, really, haven't you?
Yeah.
I'm sure our budget is bigger than theirs, but on the day they prevailed. So fair play.
We obviously mentioned about Pool 1 and Farnham lost and whatever, but You were saying a couple of weeks, Dave, about it looked like a more favourable running for City, so it does make this result an even bigger setback, doesn't it?
Yeah. But when we're away, we're not the same team away. We at home, we get the ball down on our carpet of a carpet and pass the ball around, and that suits us. And when we play away on bubbly pitches, we sometimes just don't seem to have that in our locker to be able to cope with it. So although the running looked favourable when we were playing, I mean, I think they were 8th. I think they were 9th at the start, playing 8th after. So it's not like they're struggling down the bottom, and they're not far off the playoffs. They're doing well, but it looked like a winnable game. But it was one of the ones of the remaining games that you think this could be a banana skin because they're a half decent side and it's away. I'd be much more confident at playing at home against teams higher in the table. So yeah, on to next week, and just need to put it behind us. As Sean said, you can't affect what's gone on before, can you? So we just need to dust ourselves down and just forget about what's gone on before, and just go and do our best to get 3 points on Saturday.
Yeah, let's go on to Daft's thoughts then. He said he don't think you were at the races. He said he can blame the ref all you like, but it didn't make any difference on the result, as you've touched on. He said it wasn't a sending off. What I felt with this interview with Daft, he tried to stay professional and calm all the way through the interview, but as the interview went on, he was getting more angry as he was talking about it, and started then going off on a tangent and talking about decisions that I think he didn't want to talk about at the beginning. Because he says you can, on reflection, they deserved it, which again is honest. Didn't create one clear cut, but he obviously said the one clear cut chance we did have. He goes, was the one that Simpson should have scored.
We created very little.
Didn't see the result come in, but I don't think we all did, Dave, did we, as we said?
Well, predictions would suggest not, no.
I went with a 1-1 because you said that they had been informed. Ferguson, they picked up, haven't they?
We've got no points, so.
Yeah, but like I said, he was very, very, he said he was very angry at the ref. Like I said, towards the end of the interview, it was evident, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the ref, it's just nitpicking, in it? But what can you do?
But it's like you said, Dave. If your players are going in 2-footed challenges and getting sent off, but getting a second yellow card,
or more to the point, if they're going into a 2-footed challenge and getting sent off, that's bad. But at least it shows commitment. What really annoys me is when you've got, to me, what really shows a disciplinary problem is you're getting players sent off for dissent and back chatting all the time, and that's not the case. It's just stupid little things like, really pushing someone's arm and holding their face, or picking the ball at a quarter of a nanosecond before it's completed its revolution over the white line. It's just unlucky. It's just unlucky.
Did he have a player near him, or no?
Nobody anywhere near him. No.
So that makes it even worse. If there was a player near him and he was like, "Well,
he was trying to gain an advantage by picking it up too, because the guy." But nobody around him. It was just literally, he was just following it, waiting for it to go out of play, and then just bent over and picked it up as it crossed the line.
Yeah, so, just give a free kick. It's not a second yellow, is it? But we can talk about referees all day, can't we? And final one, Dave. Do you fear losing out on the top 3?
I don't think we'll lose out on the top 3. I don't think. If I was a gambling man, I would say I think we'll finish 3rd. But then again, we've got Walton last game, haven't we? So that's a tough game. So that if Poole stay where they are and they're within 2 points of us on the last game, they could it wouldn't be beyond the realm of the possibility for Walton to turn us over last day and Poole to nick that 3rd place off us. So who knows? We will see.
You say that though, but if it's probably a very good chance that Walton would have won the league by the time they come to you. So depending on whether they're in celebration mode, I suppose.
Yeah, but there again, you could say the pressure will be off them, won't it? So can work both ways, I suppose. But I'm always confident of us giving anybody a game and beating them at Meadow Park. It's my real anxiety starts kicking in, but nervousness is when we're away, which is why I think the position we finish in the playoffs is so vitally important. But who knows?
Well, I'm just looking at Pool's last 3 games now. They've got Chertsey away, they play Havant at home, and then they finish away at Uxbridge. That's 3 tough games for them on the last 3 games.
It is. Yeah, they've got. I think Pool are more prone to drop in a few points than Farnham. I think we'll secure third. I think could be touch and go. Whether it depends on it. If Farnham drop one, like lose one of their games in hand, then the pressure starts to be on a little bit.
It's how they react after losing yesterday, doesn't it?
Exactly that. Yeah.
But just for the listeners' sake, if Gloucester finish third, they get a home semi-final, but away final.
A home tie. Well,
unless
as it stands, if Paul overtook us, and so if we finish, if Farnham overtake us and we stay above Pool, we'd finish third. Therefore, we'd play Pool in fourth. We'd play them at home in the final, and then we would play, assuming Farnham finish second, and assuming Sholing finish fifth, we would play the winner of Farnham and Sholing. Sholing are no mugs.
Doesn't it work if you finish third? Obviously, you get the semi-final at home.
Yeah.
If Farnham get through to the final, you go to them in the final.
Away to Farnham. But if Sholing turned Farnham over at Farnham in the other semi-final, then we'd be at home versus Sholing
in the final. Yeah. So
I've had a little daydream about that scenario, and
come on, Dave, talk us through it.
Well, exactly that. I can see us beating Pool at home, and we'd all be glued to our phones. And then if we saw it come through that Sholing had beat Farnham in the other one, and we had a home final against Sholing, I'd really fancy our chances. So who knows? There's a lot of football to be played, isn't there? Let's see what happens. You can daydream and second guess what's going to happen, but we can't affect it. So let's just go with it. Try and win every game we start and see where we finish at.
Well, it'd be good to get the home semi-finals because the season would be over, and I might even pop along myself for them.
I'd be very disappointed if you weren't there, Daniel.
I still owe you a point, Dave. You bought the last one.
Did I? Mine's a squash.
Brilliant. Right. Thanks for that, Dave. That's Gloucester City.
Pleasure, mate.
Let's go over to Sean with scores on the doors.
Next up is Talk of the County's Prediction League and scores on the doors by Sean Baker.
Sean, how was our week this week?
Not the best for me.
One to forget for us, I think. I think it was only Chris who.
I was going to say, speak for yourselves, mate. Speak for yourself.
Only Chris who can stand on a chair and hold his head high.
He needs to stand on a chair to hold his head high, to be fair.
I've got to be able to get on the chair first, mate.
It's a shame. You need to help up onto the chair, won't you, Chris?
So, Dave got +1. I didn't get anything. Chris got +4 and Dan got +1.
Ooh.
So,
Chris,
Dave is still top, 63. Chris has now gone up to second with 60.
Well then, Chris, like that little racehorse, isn't he, mate, coming up from behind on the final furlong?
Be careful what you say about coming up from behind, mate.
Yeah.
I'm third on 57 and Dan, you're last on 51.
Yeah, do I deserve a laughing one on that one?
You're deeper than them potholes you keep leaving.
Doesn't do potholes.
Not my remit.
No, I know he don't. I can really see him. I hit him all the time.
A good driver, I miss him.
I was going to say, Sean, you're planning a trip down to Truro. You got to get out of bloody Stroud first with his road works.
So yeah, that's that. Let's go on to the games then. In midweek, Cheltenham have Crewe at home. Head to head, there's been 29 games. Cheltenham have won 11. Crewe won 11. And there's been seven draws. Last time out was one for Cheltenham on New Year's Day, where we lost 4-1. Chris, your thoughts and predictions?
Tough game. I don't think there'll be a lot in it. I've got to be honest. I think it's a 1-goal game, and I think Crewe will get it 1-0 Crewe.
1-0 Crewe. Sean?
Are Crewe still in the playoffs?
Just outside. They've lost their last two under Bristol Rovers and 3-0 to Walsall.
You got a bit of a tough week, haven't you? And I think with you sort of more or less safe now, it's going to be
unbeaten in 7 now, Sean. Unbeaten in 7. Unbeaten in 7.
I think it's hard, isn't it? Once it's like, Josh March, I reckon 2-1.
2-1 Crew. Dave?
I'm going to go 2-1 Cheltenham.
Okay.
Usually.
So I am looking at their form, and their wins have come against the sides struggling. Gillingham, Tranmere. They've beaten Swindon 2-1 away, but they've lost the last two under Bristol Rovers and 3-0 yesterday. So hopefully we're playing them in good time. I think we'll be on a bit of a bounce after yesterday's result. And I'm going to go for a 1-0 Cheltenham win.
Tell you what, mind, Gillingham are lucky they got their points on the board early, ain't they?
I wonder how long Ainsworth's got left, to be honest with you. And it's going to Saturday, where it truly is. That's why yesterday's result was so massive. It truly is a tough game. We've got Notts County away. Head-to-head, there's been 15. Cheltenham have won 5, Notts have won 7, and there's been 3 draws. Last time out was the live Sky Sports games, which Robbie come along to, and it was 2-1 to Notts County in November. Their recent form is actually drew, lost, won, lost, won, lost. So they're not in great form either. They lost 3-2 yesterday to Chesterfield. They had a player sent off, which is really good. Chris, thoughts and predictions?
Based on your logic there, they're due a win then, aren't they? And I think they will win. I think it'll be a bad week for us this week. I'm gonna go 2-1 to Notts.
Sean?
It depends if they're playing in a week. They might be due a draw at that point.
I think it's hang on. I think it's a full fixture list on Tuesday night. Notts County are away
at Accrington.
Accrington, yeah.
My logic has just been thrown out the window.
3-0 to Notts County.
Yeah. Dave?
3-1 Notts County.
That's exactly what I was going to go with, 3-1 Notts County. Right, let's go on to Forest Green. So Forest Green have got, you want Sam? I'll give it you. Wealdstone. He'd be after Sean on Saturday. Head-to-head, there's been massively 4 games. Forest Green have never beaten Wealdstone. Been 2 defeats and 2 draws. They had a cracking 5-1 win yesterday as well, Wealdstone. Sean, thoughts and prediction?
Another tough game. Obviously, I think they've hit a bit of form as well. Obviously, they beat us 3-0 at home in the trophy. I can't see anything other than a Forest Green 2-0 win.
Sean's going with his head. He's going with his head. I should have given you the form, really, but they've won, drew, lost, won, and they beat Solihull 5-1, Tamworth 3-2, Braintree 4-1, lost 3-2 to Morecambe, drew 1-1 Kidderminster in the Cup, and beat Brackley 2-1.
Yeah, so Dan, I get your point. I ain't changing my prediction.
I give it out to the other guys because then we can gain on you.
It's going to be tough, and I think there is a high chance that we could lose, but I want to stay positive and I want to go 2-0 clean sheet just so we can top.
Didn't you say 3-0 a minute ago?
Eh?
Didn't you say 3-0 a minute ago?
Nah, 2-0. No, I said we lost 3-0. But I think it'd be another clean sheet just so we can keep ahead of Gloucester in the old red card race.
Dave?
I'll go 2-1 Wealdstone.
Chris?
I was going to go 2-1 Wealdstone as well.
So was I. I was going to go 2-1 Wealdstone. Their form is, and the goals they're scoring as well. And we all know Forest Green, as Chris used
Forest Green love clean sheets, don't they?
Like we love red cards.
Do you know what? It's going to be so sweet when we win 2-0 next week.
bit like your tweet when you put out the other day saying, look at our stars, the lineup is amazing, and then you go and lose 2-0.
I didn't say what lineup will it be.
Good comeback. On to Gloucester. They're at home to Uxbridge. There's been one head-to-head, Dave, and that's City no wins, Uxbridge 1 win. There's been no draws. Last time out was a 4-3 loss in November. What's your thoughts and predictions, Dave?
I think we'll come back to form at Fortress Meadow Park and win 3-1.
3-1. Again, their form is pretty good. They're unbeaten in 4. They've won, lost, won, drew. They drew 2-2 with Evesham yesterday. But they've got a 4-0 win at Hungerford, 3-0 win against Havant, 5-1 win against Weymouth. They lost 4-1 to Farnham, and they beat Tiverton 2-1.
Sorry to interrupt. Did you see Hungerford's Facebook yesterday?
No.
They got spanked 4-0 away at Weymouth, and their Facebook posted for full time Weymouth 0, Hungerford 4. They announced they'd won 4-0. Loads of people were going, "Oh, great result!" And then they had to change it back to
Brilliant.
Wow.
But I must also add, Dave, your form is, apart from yesterday, has been pretty good. It was 4 wins in 5. So
it was 6 wins in 8. We'd drawn 1-6, drawn 2 before yesterday. So
yeah,
Chris,
Chris,
we'll bounce straight back.
So what did you say score? What did you go with, Dave?
I went with 3-1 City.
3-1 City. Sean, Chris, rather.
2-1
to Gloucester.
to Gloucester.
Where are Uxbridge in the league then?
They're 10th.
Mid-table, mate.
Mid-table fodder.
I might go 2-2. I don't think I've done a Gloucester draw yet.
Desmond.
I'm also going to go with a 2-1 win Gloucester. Brilliant. That's a good place to leave it. Dave, thanks for joining us.
Pleasure.
Chris, thanks for joining us.
Cheers, mate.
And Sean, it's good to see you back being miserable, mate.
Cheers, bud.
Long may it continue.
Follow us all on all our socials, Facebook, X, YouTube, and Instagram. On a weekend where the Robins were shrewd in front of goal, Rovers don't like to be beside the seaside, and City drop points, and they're now looking over their shoulder. See you next time.